Shave it off.
Okay, so we're live. So I'll tell that story in just a minute. Good morning,
Okay.
everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening in some parts of the world. I am Emily Petroff, and I am the host of the Naked and Brave podcast, and I am absolutely delighted to have my guest with me today, Mr. Alun Jones, is here with us today. Thank you, sir,
Hello.
for being here.
It's a pleasure, an absolute delight. Yes.
So,
How did I get so lucky?
how did I get so lucky? This has just been an absolutely amazing experience for me, and I have been thinking about our connection all morning, and even in my dreams through the night, because I was so excited about our ability to connect here and to hear more about your journey and to be able to share what I experienced in a very short period of time with so many people that I think are going to I think we're going to have some light bulb moments today. I certainly know that I'm going to have that experience. I feel like there are going to be I don't know, there's just going to be so many things that I'm very, very excited about. And so you're an access consciousness facilitator, is that correct?
I am. I am. And next week I'm renewing my license for the third time next Thursday. So this morning it's so funny, like for me, a lot of my journey, I hate that. Well, my life's been a journey, but the journey of my life has been very much around sorting my money out and sorting my body out. Go figure, right? Two of these. Yeah.
That is why I wanted to have you on, because I love this. These two things, most people struggle with in some way or some way, shape, or form with those things, and we never talk about them together at the same time. No. So first, go.
Yeah, sorry, I could go all over the place. But for me, money and body go together. Like, whether you believe in an infinite being, whether you believe in the soul, or whether you don't believe in that at all, like from my perspective, as an infinite being, which isn't physical, what the hell does it need to do with money? Like, it doesn't need money. Whereas the body, all the money that we earn, all the money that we make, all the money that we have is always for the body. Your infinite being doesn't need a home. Your infinite being doesn't need food. It doesn't need heating. Like, this body does, right? This body sometimes requires clothes. And so when you look at that, like the two are, for me, intrinsically linked. But also, for me, what I've found is the two of the most heinous and acceptable forms of self-abuse are with money and body. We abuse ourselves with our body. I mean, I think you reposted the post I did with the woman punching herself in the face. And that's my point. It's actually socially acceptable to judge the crap out of our body and to refuse to have money. It's socially acceptable. It's normal. It's normal. Well, there must be something you hate about your body. I remember having that discussion with someone once again. There must be something you hate about your body. And that was just at the time where I was shifting everything. I'm like, do you want to fuck off? Like, I'm changing my reality with my body, and there's you going, well, there must be something, because otherwise you're not being honest with yourself. And do you want to shove that right where the sun don't shine and keep that projection to yourself?
Right. Oh, God, so much.
So the money thing for me was I'll kind of whisk forward and then we can go back and kind of pick up the bits and pieces. Yeah. But for me, one of the things I really have a joy in doing now is paying for things, which is so counterintuitive for and I want to kind of justify that and kind of I can hear myself going, yeah, but I don't pay for it. I don't have a huge amount of money. Like, I'm comfortable. I have a nice life. I am not a millionaire yet. Actually, I am a millionaire. But anyway, I'm not a billionaire. And by millionaire, I mean I have property and other stuff that kind of makes up a million. And so I don't have $1 million in the bank. But for me, I like just that joy of paying for something or investing. I call it investing in something that is going to contribute to my life, is going to contribute to the world. So this morning, as I made the last payment to Access Consciousness, there was such excitement in my body. I'm like, oh my God, like, I'm going again. How cool is that? I get to do this class for the third time. So Sorry, there it is. That's
No,
the
that's
excitement that I have.
awesome. I actually saw your post and about it, and I love that. And what an interesting, right? What an interesting thing for us to begin to, if you're listening and you're not somebody who's had the point of view that I could appreciate the ability to pay for the things that I have created in my life, right? And what kind of a relationship that could change, you know, inside and outside, what could that could change for you, right? And how you show up. And so I love that. And congratulations, by the way. That's so fun
Thank
and
you.
so exciting. And I have taken, and one of what I feel like is going to be many coming into the future of your courses. And it was just a short one, but I think we were maybe like 7 minutes in or 8 minutes in or something, and I had this huge release. I'm just crying and crying and crying, and it was just so. It was a very profound experience for me. So, and that was after we already decided to do this. So I was like, oh my gosh, how can it get any better than that, right?
Oh, does it? Mm-hmm.
So I wanted you to talk a little bit about. I love the story that you told about your kind of experience prior to having this information about your body and money, and kind of what that was like for you, because I think there's a lot of people out there who can really, like, you know, it's relevant for them in some way, or they can identify, you know, maybe in some way,
Sure.
or they know someone who maybe is and or has been in a bit of a, let's call it, dark place. And so would you tell a little bit about that, because I think that's so
Sure.
powerful.
Sure, absolutely. So it's really interesting, actually. I hadn't acknowledged really up until about 4 years ago. So I've been using the tools of access consciousness since around 2013. Actually, it is 2013. And because I posted something that I did something with Glenise Hughes, and I found this photograph flashed up of me and Glenise like years ago. I'm like, oh my God, was it really that long ago? Like 8 years ago. And that was at a time where I was coming out of the dark, like for me, the darkest space of kind of where I'd been. Um, but I hadn't really acknowledged how depressed I had been for most of my life. And so, because we think, like, most people have this impression that depression is something that's really obvious, that, you know, it kind of manifests in however people have decided it manifests, or but for me, it's like, oh my God, I actually have been really withdrawn, not like made myself so wrong for not fitting in, for being different, for always being the, and I was always looking for the reason why I was the odd one. So, I was born in the 70s, and, in this country, single parent families were still pretty new. And so I used to kind of go to school, and I didn't have a father. And then we would have lots of uncles dropping us off to school. So, like, that was really awful too. So I was ridiculed for not having a father. I was ridiculed for having lots of uncles. I was ridiculed because we had no money. So there it started. Like, the no money started as a child. We had clothes bought for us by the government. When they called the school register for the dinner menu, like, what were you doing for lunch that day? I would have to be the ones to put up my hand and go, free. You have to really announce that you were the poor kid who got, like, charity. Oh my God, it was so painful. And so I was scarred for life, Well, no, not for life, because
So
that's
let me
changed.
ask you a question about that really quick, because I just had this thought. So don't you think that most of the things that we have a point of view about, right, positive, negative, whatever, come from childhood, right? I mean, they're deeply
Quite
rooted
often they
here.
do. Yeah.
Okay.
Our childhood can most definitely.
And then those experiences, right, are the things that we then label as, like, it's bad to not have money, right? Like,
Yeah.
it becomes this, like, here was my painful experience, and I don't want to recreate that or reproduce that. And yet, here's what so many of us do over and over and over and over again, right? So,
Well, the irony is, of course, my family, like, I have a huge family. I have 8 aunts, I have 4 uncles, and God knows how many cousins, and none of them like to have money.
Mm.
The irony is they never had any money, but they didn't like money. So anyone who had money was like, oh, who do they think they are? You know, you think you're better than you are, and blah, 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 and all those rich people, they're all bastards, and all they do is think about themselves. So you have this conflicting paradigm going on of, I want money, I don't want money, I want money, I don't want money, right? So you kind of go, oh my God, like, I need more money, I must have more money because this is not pleasant for me, but if I have money, then everyone's going to hate me. I mean, so kind of that was going on. So there was that going on, and then she got remarried, and why do you have a different surname to your father? And then kind of I realized actually my preference for sexual partners is with men, and like, oh my God, so then that made me different. And then, you know, and it was just thing after thing after. I didn't like kind of doing this, I didn't like doing that, and everyone else seemed to be doing it, and I hated my body, even though right up till I was about 26 or 7, I had a really slim, kind of almost six-pack body, and you know, kind of, and I hated my body. It was too fat. It was always too fat. And like, Jesus, I'm like, I look at I look at how slim I was there, going, my God, I'm twice the size of that now, and I'm happier with my body now than I ever was then. Yeah. And so, because the truth is, how happy you are with your body has absolutely nothing to do with what it looks like. Mm-hmm. And that is not something we are taught in this reality. Mm-hmm. You know, what we're taught in this reality is you have to have, you know, big boobs, small boobs, big bums, small. I mean, obviously, you know, and man boobs. Oh my goodness, no, you don't have man boobs. And you know, yeah. And you know, cellulite, not cellulite, like all of these things. I see a lot of my kind of female friends talking about, and you know, hating on their body. And then you have the men, which is all the kind of, you know, all men are supposed to have an enormous penis, no hair on their body whatsoever, and you know, kind of buns of steel, and you know, mine are like more like buns of lard, but you know, I'm okay with that. And and you know, there's kind of the six-pack and all the kind of defined chiseled features and stuff, and it is thrust at us. And then unless you start to question what's actually going on, how many times have you looked at a picture and then what you think you're thinking is, oh my God, I should look like that, or oh my God, my body should look like that, or oh, I'll be happy when I have a body like that. And my question to you, like one of the first tools we teach in Access Consciousness is, who does that belong to? Because we are so incredibly aware, more than we're taught. So how many of the thoughts, feelings, and emotions that you have when you look at these images are even yours? Mm-hmm. When you start to question them, like, actually, do I really like? Would I really like a 9-inch penis? Jesus, no. And you know, anyway, that's a conversation for another time, but perhaps a bit too risky for here. But you know, it's just like this whole thing. I'm like, what is the perfect size? And what? And the other thing about having the perfect body shape is, if you look at different cultures around the world, different things are seen as sexy. So there are some places in the world where big bums are kind of really seen as sexy. And there are other places in the world where kind of larger men are seen as much more sexy than the kind of the skinny thing. And then you have the tall, and you know, and who's right? Like literally, who is right? Big boobs, small boobs. You know, I know men who like women with big boobs. I know men who like women with small boobs. And it's just like, it's just an interesting point of view. Right. So suffice to say, with all of that kind of stuff going on with my body, and then stuff going on with money, having put on this, never could quite work out why I was different to everybody else. There's still something I'm not getting here. I must be stupid. And I got to the point in the end where throughout the whole of 2013, no matter what, I mean, nobody really knew what was going on. Everyone was like, oh my, like, you know, you look so happy and blah, blah, blah. And it's only afterwards when I told them this, and they're going, I had no idea you were in such a dark space. Well, you know, because I'm really good at hiding it. Mm-hmm. When you push it in, you push it in, you push it in, you hide it, suppress it. And sometimes it would come bursting out. But, you know, I was spending a lot of my time asleep. I was eating loads, because that was the only way I didn't have to be present with anything. I would eat lots and then have to sleep. And then I would hate on myself for eating so much. So I would eat to make myself feel better. Because as a child, the only time you got sweets and treats was when you were treated to make yourself feel better.
Yeah.
Right? That's what we do. Let me treat myself with lots and lots of sugar that my body doesn't want, so I can feel like shit.
Yeah.
And and I didn't. Fortunately, I never turned to drink. So I've never been an alcoholic. I don't smoke. So I didn't have those, and I've never really done drugs. So like, thank God, I never went down that route, you know? So, but it got to the point where, and then there was all of this stuff around 2012, and is the world going to explode? Are we going to be beamed off by aliens? Are we all going to kind of turn into reptiles? And, you know, and whilst I didn't believe most of that crap, there was still something there for me. And it was really cold. And I'm started to kind of plan. I'm like, okay, so for about 3 months before I got to the suicide day, I had been, that was how close I knew I was at, because I was looking at going, well, you know, I could jump off a building, I could take some pills. Where would I get the pills? And this was just like, where would I go shopping today? It was that kind of conversation. It wasn't a desperation. It was such a logical, just very, very matter of fact. Shall I have tea for dinner, or shall I have coffee? Like, you know, shall I have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee? Shall I slit my wrists? I'm like, actually, that's probably the easiest. So that was what I was thinking about. The easiest thing for me is to run a hot bath, and then you slit your wrists in the bath. I probably shouldn't be saying this, because apparently you just kind of drift off into sleep. It's apparently one of the, you know, one starts off a little stingy.
Yeah.
Go figure. And so it's like, okay, all right. I don't really want to take pills, because if they don't work, that's going to make me really ill and I might end up brain dead. Don't want to end up like that. Same thing if I jump off a building. If I jump off a building, what if I don't die? What if I end up being a cabbage? Oh my God, no, that'd be even worse. Because really, for me, the only way out I could see that would make everybody else's life happy was if I died. I didn't have enough money. I was kind of £56,000 in debt. I had no income to speak of. I hadn't started any of the access consciousness stuff then. I'm like, I can't change this. I just can't change this. And so that was it. So I got the day, got the knife, started running the bath. And as I'm running the bath, I'm like, and just this flash of my partner coming in the house to a cold, dark, empty house, wondering why there are no lights on, why the central heating's not on, why I'm not kind of, where am I? And then walking into the bathroom and seeing a dead body. And so just looking at that, kind of going, I can't do that to him, because in some senses, I don't know that at the time, I wasn't sure that he was emotionally as able to cope with that. I don't want to scar someone like that for life. I'm just not willing to be that unkind. And I got really angry, man. I'm like, fucking hell, I can't even kill myself because it's going to hurt someone. Jesus. Like, I was so angry. And that was when I made the demand. Fuck's sake, universe, something's got to change. You've got, fucking give me something. You won't let me die. You won't let me live. Give me something. Sorry, I slammed around the house, and I was in such a bad mood all night. But something shifted, and and it wasn't for another 2 or 3 months that I listened to someone on a radio show talking about access consciousness, and again, I remember being really angry with her, because I was like, the clearing statement that we use in access consciousness is strange, it's different, and I'm like, I remember swearing at the computer, because I'm like, that's just nonsense. How can that work? And I really was like, not just like screaming, like incandescent with anger at this woman. And but I listened to her again, because there was actually some of the stuff, if she didn't do that, nonsense was actually kind of making sense. And then about a week after that, so this was probably around about April of 2013, I heard Dr. Deng here, and there was just this really gentle, beautiful, kind of kind, intelligent, just, hey, this is where I was at. I was going to commit suicide. This is what happened. And he talks about the abuse that he had as a child, and which I kind of lived through as well. And I was listening to him going, Jesus, he's describing my life. Physical, mental, emotional, sexual abuse, hating his body, hating his business, nothing working well, relationships are all crap, no money, like meh. and um, and then I thought, wow, if he can, there was just something so genuine about what he was saying. He wasn't one of those, hey, buy this product for $50,000 and it'll change your life. Except it never did. I mean, up until that point, up until coming across Access, I had done, oh my god, crystals, Reiki, kind of spiritual healing, so many things, EFT, hypnotherapy, and I learned them all. I'm like, oh, I'll add this one and this one, and they would work for a bit, and then my life would be even more shit. And they can be good. I get that they can help people, and if it wasn't for EFT, I probably would have checked out a lot sooner. It was like putting a sticking plaster over a broken leg. It might give you a little bit of relief, or like putting have a bit of anesthetic, but the leg doesn't change. So listening to Dane, it was just like, wow. And a friend of mine then, this was in the beginning of May, I think it was, he'd got his book, Being You, Changing the World. And my friend said to me, hey, would you like me to gift you a copy of this book? And so I spent maybe 2 hours. Oh my God, I can't have that book. I haven't got enough money to pay her back. How am I going to cope with them? And I just went, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going to say yes. I'll deal with it. And so when she gave me a copy of his book, I read it 3 times in 1 week. It's like, that was the real, if you ever see a graph that goes like this, and then that was just the slight upturn. And then I listened to as much Access as I possibly could. I would eat, sleep, and drink it every single day. I would get up, I would listen to kind of calls and theories, and that's where I found Glenise Hughes. And I'm like, what would it be like to meet this woman? She's one of my best friends now. Like, I can literally say she is one of my best friends. She did an amazing post this week about someone who body shamed her, which I highly recommend reading.
We shared it. It's in the group for those of you who want to see it. It is awesome.
Because like, for me, because and people do that to me. People say that to me all the time. Why do you keep flashing off your body? Because I like my body. If you don't like my body, don't look at my posts. Simple as that. If you do not like my body, I am not covering it up. Go away. And I'm not as eloquent as Glenise Hughes. Actually, that's not true. I am as eloquent as Glenise Hughes, but I will be often much more direct than her. But I loved her post because it also invited me to go, maybe if I tried something a little bit softer rather than killing them. Because it's not, I don't care. It is of no relevance to me what people think about my body. What really makes me angry is if you're doing that to me, who else are you doing that to, who perhaps isn't as self-assured as I am? And you're kind of messaging people and going, hey, I know you really like this, but let me just give you a bit of feedback. Did I ask you for it, bitch?
Right.
Like, it is never okay to tell someone, hey, you should dress more like this. Fuck you. Like that's the energy that I be with her. No tolerance for it.
I love it. Talk about this. This I feel like is a really great place for us to transition into what your body thinks about what you wear. And I love the story that you told me about when you got this information, right? And you had this point of view that like, oh, I'm really going to what is it that my body needs and what is it that my body wants? And some of the first things that you did when you made this kind of, had this awareness. So talk about that, because I think this is really cool. And it's a fun and really powerful story.
Sure, most definitely. Because again, it links the whole money thing in so deliciously. So, I got to the point where I'm going, okay, my body, my financial relationship, or my financial reality needs to change. This is not working for me. This kind of constant getting to halfway through the month and going, what am I going to do? Like that, I'm done. Like, I've done this for over 40 years. I'm done. This is in about 2017. And so because I kind of talk to my body all the time now, something that I've become so ease with, that my body tends to use words or talks to me in my head, just because it knows that's the easiest way for me to process what it's saying to me. Sometimes it will just show me an image, but basically I'm going to my body. Okay, so question for all of you who are watching this: have you asked your body to make you more money? Sounds strange, but like I said right at the very beginning, money is for the body, it's not for the being. And your body has a consciousness and a brilliance and magic of its own. Okay, body, what's it going to take for you to make us money? Because this previous shit's not working. And my body was like, stop buying crap underwear. And that was exactly how it said it. Stop buying crap underwear. Because for me, like, I don't know about you, but like, my mother buys my stepfather's underwear for him. And you know, it's just so interesting. And I see that so often, especially with married couples. The wife buys the husband clothes because he can't be bothered. And for me, it was just like, well, no one's going to see my underwear. Great attitude if I want to have sex with anyone, right? No one's going to see my underwear. Wait, what? That's a great invitation for people. Not. And so I'm looking at it, kind of going, alrighty then. So, because I would buy 3 pairs for £10.
Yeah.
Because I'm not paying more than £3 for a pair of underwear. I mean, it's just underwear, right? And I'm like, okay, buddy, all right. So now I treat myself. I kind of honor my body, and I will buy new underwear every single month. I will buy a new pair every month. So the idea of paying something like £60 for a pair of Ralph Lauren or something like that, which was just like, are you kidding me? I wouldn't even pay that for a shirt. And I don't always pay £60. Typically, the underwear I buy is about £20 to £30 a pair, and they fit. You know, the other thing about men, I don't know if you know how many people have ever looked at men's underwear, but most men's underwear is not ergonomically correct. It's flat at the front. Could you imagine having a flat bra? Like, regardless of the size, it kind of does come out before it goes down. Like, don't go visual, anyone. So when you use underwear, everything is pressed up again. Like, seriously. So, like, okay, I need to buy underwear that my body really enjoys wearing. So I found a couple of brands that fit well, and they look good, and they feel good, and my body was so lit up. So I've got 2 drawers full of underwear. it's amazing. And then it kind of ricocheted. The money started kind of coming in, like, not like thousands more, but there was definitely, and I'm like, okay, so what's next? And the next thing was shoes. Mm-hmm. So I started to invest in shoes, and I've designed, through a company, 4 different pairs of shoes, which I wear.
That's cool. I did not know that.
Yeah. So I have a pair of the first ones I bought was because we went to Prague, and there was a shop in Prague with these amazing shoes with kind of red and green and blue and kind of and yellow. I must have kind of all kind of just flowing into each other. They sound really awful, but the colors really went kind of well together. I'm like, oh, and at the time they were €200, and I'm like, oh my god, that's a huge amount of money for a pair of shoes. Like, okay, and that's a really great sign for me that I'm limiting myself. And okay, so I asked the question, okay, so what would it take? Because now I have tools. Mm-hmm. Okay, what would it take? So I got home, and then there was this company advertising design your own shoes. So I got really excited. So I designed 4. So I have a multicolored pair of shoes. I have a blue pair. I have a green pair of boots, and I have my favorites, which are kind of pink and purple. They're like just kind of ankle length boots. And I love wearing them. They're really comfortable. I'm like, okay. And then it was shirts. And now I wear kind of quite colorful shirts. And now I'm doing kind of trousers and like I'm looking at, and what else? And I had my Rolex. So not because it's a Rolex, but it's just like this whole thing around when you honor your body can contribute to you and the creation of your life in so much more dynamic and unexplainable ways. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is the thing. This reality is so based on logic and A plus B equals C. It's not logical that if I spend more money on clothes that my body enjoys, that it would make me more money. And it's not about necessarily the amount of money you spend, because you can go to some really great kind of, where they sell the kind of the sale end of kind of designer clothes. It's about buying clothes and investing, and it is an investment in clothes that your body enjoys wearing. And it doesn't matter what, and it's not that it doesn't matter. It's like, it's just not relevant what other people think about what you wear. If you look at Glenys Hughes, one of the things I love about her is she plays with makeup. She plays with makeup. She tries different looks. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And it doesn't matter at the end of the day.
I love this so much, and a couple of years ago, this is probably two years ago or so, I was doing some work on this. I didn't have any of the access tools at that point in my life, and some of the information that came into me was how I was spending how I had spent my whole life buying clothes that did not fit my body because I was going to diet down to a size, or I was going to, like, all this fucking bullshit, right? And it was like, oh my God. And so for the first time in my entire life, I went and spent like $1,000 on a wardrobe that fit my body. And I will tell you, it was such a mind fuck for me at first. Like, oh God, what am I doing? And at the same time, I could tell it was the right thing to do, right? And like, I mean, right being the...
Yeah, I get it.
Felt good, right, to do that, and to just allow my body to be in clothes that fit it, instead of buying a size that I was going to eventually get down to, which sometimes I did and sometimes I didn't, but there was always this ridiculous, like, quest after something that was not, that I wasn't in that moment, right? Like, just such garbage.
It's about getting out of the point of view of like, what are your points of view about the size of a clothes, right? So, like, because we're women, you will have like a 0, 2, 3, 4, blah blah blah, and the size 0 is the ultimate size. Like, okay, interesting point of view. They have that point of view. One of the tools from Access Consciousness. And, I used to be a 30, 32 waist in my trousers, and now I'm a 40. and I'm okay with that. And it took some real podpocking and kind of interesting point of viewing to kind of look at that and kind of go, okay, do you know what? I'm never probably going to choose to treat my body in a way that will get me back into 30-inch jeans. So I got rid of all of my clothes that I'll hang on to just in case I ever get that slim again. Because you know what? If my body chooses to change shape, because it's my body that chooses its shape, not me. If my body ever chooses to have that shape again, I'll go buy clothes that are smaller.
Yeah. And
I know.
God, that is so true. How many of you, listen up, people, how many of you have your fat clothes and your skinny clothes and your whatever the fuck clothes, right? Like, hanging around in your closet so that when you go on that next diet, or you do whatever it is that you're going to do in order to get down to that size. And I'm speaking from experience. I'm not coming from a place of judgment. I'm telling you my story. I have held on to those things before, right? And then what's so funny is exactly what you just said. I forced myself, right, to get to that place. I put myself through all these ridiculous, crazy things. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to go shopping, right? Like, I didn't even fucking wear the shit that I had been hanging on to in the first place. Like, get rid of it. Give it to somebody else who is that size, who wants to wear those things and can totally benefit from it, right? Like, there is a really, I feel like it's a cathartic process in, like, getting rid of those things. It's like this permission to be who you are, the way you are, right?
I would agree with that. And I think, just to put another spin on it as well, how many people are you denying the joy of having clothes that light their body up by you hanging on to them just in case one day you fit them? But also, another piece that I want to add to that is a phrase that I hear and I've used myself. I'd love to go back to that size body again. Now look at kind of energetically what you're actually asking for there. When I was kind of the 30, 32 waist, kind of going into 34, I was one of my most depressed times in my life, right? do I really want to go back to that? I'll have the body and then all the shit that goes with it. And I'm not saying to have a slim body means you have to have that, but that kind of psychologically and energetically for me is where that would go.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, so rather than trying to force myself to have this body, because if I have, like, what have you decided would happen when you have that body? Oh, well, if I have that body, then I'll be more successful. People will find me more attractive. People will like me more. Is that really true?
Mm-mm.
If people only like you for your body size, what the fuck are you doing with them?
Mm-hmm.
I know that's kind of blunt, but truly, if someone is going to drop you because your body shape changes, were they really your friend in the first place?
That's a mic drop kind of statement. So I feel like it's worth saying again, and it's probably something that we need to put out so that we can share it and reshare
Yeah.
it, right? Like if you haven't already, I feel like this is not new information, right, for you to be sending out into the universe. So let's please say it again for those of you in the back who didn't hear it the first time.
I think, because this is it, kind of it goes and it comes and it goes. So if you have friends who will stop talking to you if your body shape changes, you got to ask yourself, were they really friends that you would like to have in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
Or were they even people? Were they even your friends in the first place? Because that's the first thing. It's like, were they even your friends? And if you want to, like, do you want to hang around with people who are going to judge you on your body size?
And I think the other piece too that I would love to add to this that I just recently, right, maybe in the last, I don't know, couple of years or so have gotten really exploratory with is like, ooh, who could I bring into my world that would love me exactly the way that I am if I was able to, right, get to a place where I'm doing that for myself, right? Like, what kind of fun and new experiences, like, because I think it's always about like this loss, like, oh my God, what am I going to do if I lose Susie in my life? Or what am I going to do if I don't have Karen? Like, what happens if you bring in Sarah and Bob and fuck, who knows, right? Like, I mean, what is, and I have had that experience. Look at me having you in my life, right? I get to see you on my Facebook feed every fucking day. I feel like I live in your world and it feels so great, right? So you guys, you don't know what you will bring into your life when you begin to just let those people fall away if they're not in, right? Let them not be in. Give them permission to move away.
Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, what if the only thing you have to lose really in terms of the sacrifices you have to make are your judgments and your limitations of you? What if there's so much more to gain when you I don't use the term accept myself exactly as I am. It's like, I will have gratitude and appreciation and receiving an allowance for however my body chooses to show up. And every day before I get out of bed, I will ask the question, okay, body, what would you like to look like today?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to butcher this,
No,
but one Murungren,
Murugan, is that? Murugan?
Murugan, asked if I can share my dress size. Absolutely, I'm a size 16. And I've been a size, oh gosh, what was my smallest size? Probably like maybe an 8, 10, something like that. At my largest, I was probably like a 24, something like that. I have been up, down, all around like a little roller coaster, and I don't know, right? I'm giving myself permission to, and my body, right? I'm now, like you discussed, you're having conversations with your body. I just started that process, right? From learning some of the access tools and from having conversations with people like you. I interviewed Selena on the first episode of the podcast. So, it's been a really wonderful experience for me to be able to give my body a say in what's happening, instead of just like discounting her all the time and not really paying attention to that. So, yeah.
I mean, I would really invite people to look at what does clothes size mean to you, and then just clear all your points of view. Because the other thing that it's really worth bearing in mind is different clothing companies will have different sizes that mean different things. Some companies, I will buy clothes and they're a large, and then in others, I'm an extra large, and sometimes I'm XXL, and in some places, I'm XXXL, and that that took a lot of kind of 3XL. Fuck! I'm a fat wanker. Oh my god! Like, okay, who the hell does that belong to? First of all, interesting point of view. What have I decided that means for me? Well, you've let yourself go. Blah blah blah. Interesting point of view. I have that point of view because then I go back and I pick up the clothes of the large and go, oh, my body shape hasn't changed at all. It's just a they just describe their clothes differently. And I don't care what people say. There are some companies that will say this is a kind of 38-inch waist or this is a 40-inch waist, and I'll put them on. Like, that's not a 40-inch. That's not a 40. That is not a 40 because I can fit in a 38, and the little tape measure says I'm kind of 39. So,
and isn't that interesting in and of itself, right? Like to then have, hey Stace, welcome my dear, to then have the experience of judgment as a result, like, and then thinking that it's because of something that I did, right? Like, what the fuck happened? Oh my god, now and I'm having all these things come up.
And like, for all of you, please, like, I invite you, please be aware that these diet companies and pharmaceutical companies and some clothing companies do not want you to like your body. That is why you get so many fucking adverts go, get a beach ready body, get ready for summer, have this size body to be happy. You'll be happy when you have this size body. They want you to shame yourself.
Yeah.
You keep buying that bullshit, you're paying money for them, and they want you to keep hating on your body. So you buy their products for the stuff that you don't even need.
Yeah.
Truly.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I want you to tell also the story about, we're drinking, by the way. So Alan said, I'm going to have a gin and tonic, and I put Kahlua in my coffee this morning. So it is 9:43 my time, and
never too early. Like, it's never too early to drink. And just look at this. Here it's like it's 4:45 in Australia. It's in some places in Australia, it's already kind of midnight. So hey, you know what? Somewhere in the world, it's already tomorrow. It's already tomorrow in Brisbane. So fuck it.
Time, right? Yeah. Oh, so I wanted you this beautiful story that you told me about this man that you had this wonderful weekend experience with, where he invited you, not really, but he did invited you to be comfortable with your body. And I just love that. And I feel like you do that for me, and I want to now do that for other people. And so I would love for you to tell that story a little bit, please.
Most definitely. And so it kind of, the history kind of goes, like I've kind of already touched on, I hated on my body most of my life. And it was always a case of, I need to change my body. I need to change my body. And I want to do it for me so that I'm happy with my body. And it was never about anyone else. It was all like, when I'm happy with my body, then people will like me. Blah, 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 story. But it was always about needing to, anyway, there was that kind of going on. So there I am in Paris with a friend of mine. And we share an apartment together, and he's a dancer. And, he's been on Broadway and done Cats and all sorts of stuff. So he's kind of, he's not just a kind of, anyway. So we walk around the apartment and, perfectly comfortable because we're friends. And so we're walking around in our underwear and like kind of going along, and we go to class. We go to the kind of the choice possibilities class in Paris, and then kind of each night and kind of doing it. And then so this was on the Thursday night, we got to the apartment. And I'm like, there was something, I couldn't quite put it out. It was starting to kind of irritate me a bit. There's something different here. What is going on? What is going on? And then on the Monday morning as I was packing, it was just this light bulb went on, and I just stopped packing. I went, holy fuck, I haven't judged my body for 3 days. Like, it was that. It was like someone had just, I don't know, you just kind of find something that you didn't even know existed. I'm like, Jesus, like, wow. Oh my God, I never even thought that was possible. And the kind of what was going on with my friend was, he doesn't judge bodies at all. He has no judgment of bodies. Fat, thin, large, small, kind of, just none. All bodies for him are amazing and brilliant and beautiful. And just like, Jesus, and we never discussed body size. We didn't talk about kind of body size or anything like that, and or shape or anything to do with that. I'm like, oh my God, he is just being a space of total allowance and receiving of all bodies. What if he can be that for me? Like, if I can receive that in this weekend, what would it be like if I was like that in the world, so that anybody who comes anywhere near me doesn't even occur to them to judge their body? It's not, I mustn't judge my body. It doesn't even come across your mind. You don't even think about it. Oops, maybe drop my gin over. Can't do that. And so I'm like, that was the real turning point for me, is, okay, do you know what? This is not about changing my body. This is about being the space of such receiving and gratitude and allowance for my body that it kind of, there's just this miasma of allowance that kind of spreads out from me. And I'd like it for it to be contagious, this space of allowance and appreciation and gratitude, so that when it just filters into people very subtly, or even kind of obviously, so that when they go away, they kind of get the bug too, of maybe even taking a week and going, something's different. Like, and that was, people were saying to me, have you lost weight? Which was really funny. Have you lost weight? Nope, I really haven't lost weight. I really haven't lost weight, because I weighed myself this morning. I'm the same size as I was before I went to Paris. But there's something different about you. Of course there was. There wasn't the weight of the judgments. There wasn't all of that heaviness that was around me.
Yeah.
So that, if I could invite any of you to anything, it is, be kind to your body, have total allowance of your body, have gratitude and appreciation for your body, and don't just do it for you. Change people's lives with it. Just by being you. I mean, don't go out and go, you should stop judging your body. That's not what I'm saying. When you're being that space for you, people around you who are willing to perceive and receive it can't help but perceive and receive it. Be that, because I didn't even know that existed. I did not know that not judging my body, and I still have moments where I kind of, I think, okay, got some tools. Because I made the demand of me. I'm not going back there. I'm choosing forward to a different space of no body shaming, and that includes body shaming me. So that, if I can, I've had a lot. It's interesting, because I was on another radio show on Monday night with Milica Jelenic, The Pleasure Zone, on Inspired Choices Network, and we were talking about something very similar in terms of kind of live bodies. Like, okay, so there's obviously something in the air at the moment that, so how can I turn that up? How many more people can I invite to choose kindness with their body?
Yeah, absolutely. I want you to know that because of the conversation that we had the first time we connected, and I was so inspired by that being, right? The beingness of when anyone is in my space, for them to not judge their body. And I was so inspired by that, what you said in this story that you told, that while we just did our very first naked yoga class in my local community here, and I said that, I used that, and it was because of you that I shared that with them, and that I really want to be that, right? I'm being that. And so I just want you to know, like, your ripple effect is just like all the way over here, clear across the world. And I'm sure that you
Who said ripples in bodies were bad, right? I'm owning the ripple, baby. Yes. Ripples on my belly. My ripples are changing the world.
Oh, yes, they are. I love it so much. Well, I want to just, we have a few minutes. And so anything else that you want to say about that relationship that we maybe haven't covered, or that we need to reiterate again, or to tell them again about the relationship between money and the body, and or that the body loves to receive, right? Like we don't do that.
Yeah, bodies do love to receive, and most often the thing that we are most unwilling to receive is ourselves. you know, it is, and I've said this before, you know, it is something that's really key is for people to get. One of the most justifiable forms of abuse is abusing ourselves. You know, we tell ourselves that we're no good. Like, would you ever speak to anyone the way you speak to your body? Would you ever speak to like a 5, 6 year old child the way you speak to yourself? You probably wouldn't. Like, you're so fat, you're so stupid, you're so this, you're so that. Like, God, what's wrong with you? Like, so I would invite you to really start to check and be present with your language. And when you notice yourself choosing that unkindness, just stop. And a question you can ask, which I still ask now, is if I were choosing kindness for my body right now, what would I choose? And that and gratitude. And I was talking about that this morning in the, so we're doing this challenge at the moment, which is it's like stop judging your previous choices. Like how many, oh my God, how many previous choices have you made about with your body that you are still in judgment of? Cut it out. So I was saying to them, so stand in front of the mirror, you know, and that for me was one of the exercises that really started to change stuff for me, was standing naked in front of a mirror for 10 to 15 minutes every day for a whole month and using one of the tools of access consciousness, which was interesting point of view. I have that point of view. So I would look at my eyes and I'm like, and I mean, and the thing with letting go of judgment is you've got to let go of the positive as well as the negative, because they're just two different sides of the same coin. Acknowledgement is not the same as judgment. So it's looking at going, oh, my eyes are kind of really wrinkly. Interesting point of view, I have the point of view, my eyes are wrinkly. Interesting point of view, I have bags. Interesting point of view, my eyes are ugly. Interesting point of view, my eyes are wonky. Interesting point of view, my eyebrows have little gaps in and they look horrible. Because, you know, my eyebrows are one of the things that I was ridiculed for as a kid. Oh, thank you, Stacey. I appreciate that. And so when you're standing in front of the mirror, well, what if you just receive your body, no matter how it shows up? And I don't like exactly as it is, because it kind of then, for me, sends a signal to my body to stay the same. Like, no, do you know what, body? I will receive you no matter how you show up, whether you're 2 stone, 20 stone, 100 stone, everything that brought up, right, wrong, good, bad, pop, bottle, 9 short, spoiling meals. Sorry, access conscious clearance statement. There was a charge on that. And if using the interesting point of view tool doesn't work for you, when you look at a place in your body that you're looking at in the mirror, what can you be grateful for? So like, and I get it. It can be really hard when you're looking at your belly, which is one of the biggest things for me. And you know, I actually there's a photograph I put on Instagram of my stretch marks on my stomach, and I know I blew a few people away when I went, do you know what? I'm so grateful for my stretch marks because they show me where my body is actually changing shape. Because when you're really swollen, you don't necessarily get the stretch marks. It's when your body starts to shrink that the stretch marks start coming back. And I'm like, so that's like, do you know what? I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for my body never giving up on me. I'm grateful for the fact that my belly allowed me to have all that food in it. And you know, it's like it's not the Pollyanna effect, but it is that case of when you're doing gratitude, when you're being gratitude, you can't do judgment. What else are you grateful for your body? It never has given up on you. If you're watching this right now, your body's still there for you. Like, have you acknowledged and received how grateful your body is for you? Because when you do that, it's like, do you know what, body? Thank you so much for not judging me, for not making me wrong, and for not giving up on me. Thank you for having my back.
Do that right now, you guys, right? Take this moment, and maybe you've not done that ever, or maybe just not recent enough, right? Like, I can remember one of my mentors saying, like, when was the last time that you told someone that you loved them or that you cared about them or whatever? What about me, right? What about your body? What if you did that right now in this moment?
So absolutely. So you're welcome, Stacey. And Torna, I get it about judging your weight. And you know, if you don't know the tools of access, I would really invite you to start looking at them, because one of the first things I would say to you is how much of that sweet thing, like I get it. How much of the judgment you think you have of your body is even yours. And I know that it feels so real. And we want it to feel real because it's so real. And also the interesting point of view. And get your bars run. Access bars is one of the first things that you learn in Access. It really does help.
I'm going to my first bars class June 24th. So
Awesome.
I'm really excited about it.
And so there's a money, control, creativity. So body and sexuality. Sorry, where are the bars? So probably about here. So like in line with the center of your eyes, like your pupils. So just across here, there are 2 bars, and there's body and sexuality. If you just kind of place your fingers on there and just run them, it will help for you to let go of all of those fixed points of view you have about your body. You can do it laying down. It's probably a lot easier laying down, which is what happens when you have your bars run. There are 2 of the bars that you can run. And I can feel mine running already. So it's just worth playing with it. But, like truly be kind, be kind, be kind, be kind. If you want to change the world, be kind to you. And what if you being kind to you is the gift the world is asking for?
So amazing. Thank you so much, my dear, for being here with us today. And I just as an additional thing, do you have anything exciting coming up that we should know about, that if anybody wants to come to one of your classes or to anything that you're hosting, tell us a little bit about. You guys can find him. I've shared a lot of his things in both on my pages as well as in both groups that I have, and so please find him. I'll make sure that his information is here in the chat as well. But what else do you have going on that's coming up for you that we should know about?
Okay, so it's interesting. So I have one other class that I've got going on at the moment, which happens this Sunday, and it's at 5 p.m. my time. So that'll be noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific.
Okay, so 10 a.m. for all of those of you who are. We have a lot of people in Mountain Time that tune in. So
cool. Yeah. So yeah, 10 o'clock Sunday morning, and it's called Unfucking Your Future.
Ooh, Unfucking Your Future! I love it. Oh my gosh. That's fantastic.
So it kind of fits really well with the no longer judging your choices. It's about kind of looking at where we've decided and we fix our future. Your future is only as fixed as you choose it to be. And if the future that you are aware of that you're creating is not working for you and it doesn't light you up and make you want to go woo, like if your future is, oh my God, seriously, then what I'm going to be inviting people to do is to kind of change some of those points of view that then allow them to create something even greater. So that's what this Sunday is about.
I love it. And so is it a one day? Is it a few hours?
It's just an hour. It's literally 5 o'clock till 6 o'clock. So 10 a.m. till 11 a.m. And there'll be like an access consciousness process loop as well. You get a recording of the call. You get to ask your questions. So if you're new to access, I will, come along, but be prepared that, it will probably be one of the most strange things you've ever been to. If you've never done any access stuff.
Amen to that, right? Learning something new, exposing ourselves to different and new things. So thank you so much.
Sorry, can I just mention one other thing? I have a YouTube channel, and I do something called Ask Alun, which is like I've changed it up this month. I'm only doing it once a month from now, but there are about 46 of these half-hour episodes of me responding to people's questions. So I can give you a link for the YouTube channel, and there's literally loads of free stuff on my YouTube channel if you want to start to get a taste for me and for access consciousness. So yeah.
Love it. Yes, please. I will get the link, you guys, or you can post it on the thread here. Thank you so much. Thank you to those of you who were here with us today. And if you're watching the replay, please give us a little shout out. Let us know that you're here watching the replay. We would love to know that. And or if you're listening in to the podcast, you know, subscribe in all the places that you can subscribe, follow us, and
Yeah.
continue to be open, right? Continue to be naked and brave, and you know, be. I feel like it's this opportunity for us to invite ourselves to expand and to grow and to see, right, what else might be possible for us. So
Yeah.
thank
True
you
story.
so much, my dear. I so appreciate it, and I hope that you have an amazing rest of your evening, a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you soon, very soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, most definitely.
All
Thank
right,
you everyone for coming to play.
amazing
All
day.
right. Bye bye.
Bye.